Every small town has a ghost story. In Willow Creek, Ohio, ours is the burned clown who walks Main Street after midnight, laughing that raspy laugh and leaving red letters on doors. I'm Jake Miller, the local reporter, and I smelled scorched skin and melted plastic in my own living room the night it started. My name's Jake Miller, 35, staff writer for the Willow Creek Gazette, a weekly paper that covers corn festivals and high school football. I grew up in the same creaky house on Elm Street my parents left me when they retired to Florida. Normal life. Morning coffee, afternoon deadlines, baseball on TV. Then October 2023 changed everything. I was at the kitchen table, laptop open, finishing a piece on the fall fair. The fireplace crackled, oak logs popping. Outside, autumn wind rattled the windows, leaves skittering across the porch. Then the smell hit. Charred meat mixed with burning plastic thick enough to choke on. I checked the fireplace, clean burn, no smoke. Opened the window for fresh air. The stench got worse, like someone just torched a body nearby. Then came the laugh, drifting from the end of the block. Hee hee ha! Hoarse, dragging like a kid gargling smoke. The street lamp flickered in rhythm. The air turned ice cold. The thermostat read 72-degree arrive. But my breath froze in white puffs. Goosebumps raced up my arms. I slammed the window, locked it, but the smell clung to the curtains. Next morning, the sheriff's office buzzed. Chief Daniels, high school buddy, beer league shortstop, called me in. Jake, 3 kids gone in 2 weeks. Timmy, 8, vanished from his backyard. Lily, 10, walking home from the library. 7-year-old Mikey near the park. No footprints, no screams. Just red letters on their front doors. Come play, written in lipstick and something darker. Town whispered the old name, the Night Clown. I remembered 2005 like it was yesterday, the Big Top Circus fire. I was 17, sneaking beers behind the tent when the flames took everything. Jolly Joe, the star clown, disappeared that night. I pulled the archive box from the office safe. Grainy photo of Joseph Joey Malone, 28, white grease paint, red foam nose, grin wide enough to split his face. Headline, Circus Fire Claims 12 Lives, Beloved Clown Missing. Started digging. Called Mr. Harlan, the old ringmaster, now 70 and living in a trailer by the creek. Joe was a good kid, he rasped. Tried to save the children, got trapped, ran into the woods on fire, never found the body. I drove to the burn site, a clearing behind town where the Big Top once stood. Midday sun, yet the air felt 10 degrees colder. Scorched smell drifted from the dead pines. I kicked the dirt and found a single clown shoe, charred black, still warm to the touch. Back home, I opened the front door and the laugh echoed again. Hee hee ha! From the alley. Kitchen light flickered. Burnt plastic stench filled the room. On my table, where no one had been, red letters dripped. Join the show. Written in waxy lipstick I didn't own. That night I didn't sleep. Frost formed on the inside of my bedroom window, even though the furnace roared. The laugh circled the house, closer each loop. I knew the clown was back, and I had to find out why before he found me. The Big Top Circus used to be the heartbeat of Willow Creek every July. Red and white canvas, sawdust ring, the smell of popcorn, cotton candy, and elephant dung mixing in the summer heat. I was a kid then, sneaking in through the back flap with my buddies, eyes wide at the acrobats, the lions, and Jolly Joe, the clown who could make a whole tent full of kids lose their minds. Joseph Joey Malone was 28 in 2005, fresh off the Greyhound from New York City with a duffel bag and a dream. Tall, skinny, freckles under the white grease paint. His act was simple. Balloon animals, pratfalls, a squirting flower that soaked the front row. But the kids loved him because he remembered their names. Hey Tommy, catch! He'd yell, tossing a rubber chicken into the bleachers. Every show ended with his signature laugh, hee hee ha. Bright, contagious, impossible to forget. Joey lived in a trailer behind the Big Top with Annie Harper, the ticket girl. 19, blonde ponytail, smile like sunshine. Everyone knew Joey was head over heels. He'd slip her dandelions between acts, whisper jokes only she laughed at. Rumor was he planned to propose the night the circus left town for good. Mr. Harlan ran the show with a cheap cigar and a tighter wallet. Paid the hands in cash, skimped on fire extinguishers, kept the generator patched with duct tape. Safety's expensive, he'd grunt. Joey hated it. Argued with Harlan in the sawdust, voice cracking. Those kids trust us. The fire started just after the 8 p.m. show. I was outside, sharing a warm beer with friends when the screams cut through the music. Flames shot from the animal tent. Kerosene lamps tipped, hay bales ignited. Smell of burning canvas and singed fur rolled over the midway. People poured out, coughing, crying. Joey burst from the clown alley, still in full makeup. Red nose melted to his cheek. He ran toward the fire, not away. Witnesses said he yanked open the kids' gate, pulled 3 little ones out by their shirts. Then the main tent pole snapped. Burning canvas collapsed. Joey vanished inside the inferno. When the fire trucks finally arrived, the big top was ash. 12 dead, mostly children trapped in the bleachers. Joey wasn't among them. Search dogs followed his trail to the tree line. Scorched footprints, clown shoes melted into the mud. Then nothing. The official report, presumed deceased. Body consumed by fire, but no bones. No teeth, no red foam nose. I dug deeper. Found an old VHS in the Gazette archives. Grainy security footage from the ticket booth. The tape smelled faintly of charred plastic even after 18 years. I hit play in the office after hours, furnace cranked high. The screen flickered. Joey on the midway, juggling torches, kids circled around. Then the flames, chaos, Joey running. The camera caught his face for one frozen second. Mouth open in that laugh, eyes wide with terror. Before the feed cut to static. That night, back home, the laugh returned. Hee-hee-ha! From the woods behind my house. The furnace clicked off by itself. Frost spiderwebbed across the TV screen even though the room was 80 degrees. My breath hung in the air like smoke. I opened the back door. Scorched earth smell rolled in, thick as fog. On the porch step, a single red balloon tied with a ribbon that hadn't been there an hour ago. It bobbed in the windless night. When I touched it, the rubber was warm, like it had just left someone's hand. Inside the balloon, written in red lipstick, "The show must go on." I didn't sleep. At 3:07 a.m., the power died. Street lights blinked out one by one. In the darkness, footsteps, slow, deliberate, circled the house. Clown shoes on gravel. Then silence. Morning came gray. I drove to the burn site again. The clearing was empty except for fresh tire tracks. Too wide for a car, too perfect for boots. In the center, a child's shoe, small, white, half melted at the toe. The smell of burning rubber lingered. Chief Daniels met me there, face grim. Another kid gone last night. Same red writing on the door. He handed me a Polaroid. Come to the big top. I looked at the woods. Somewhere in the trees, the laugh drifted back. Hee-hee-ha! Fainter, but closer to town. Jolly Joe was back. And the circus wasn't over. The first confirmed sighting came on a Tuesday at 2:14 a.m. Mrs. Carter, the night shift nurse at Willow Creek Clinic, stepped out for a smoke. She swore she saw a tall figure in a tattered red and white suit shuffle past the parking lot lights. Half the face melted away, the other half still smeared with cracked grease paint. Yellow street lamp glow caught the red foam nose, now fused to the cheek like a tumor. He dragged one foot, the charred clown shoe scraping asphalt. Then he stopped under the security camera, looked straight up and laughed. Hey, hey, ha! The bulb above him popped. Darkness swallowed him. The tape was grainy, but the burnt plastic smell leaked from the VCR when Daniels played it for me. Frost bloomed on the inside of the precinct windows even though the heat was cranked to 75. My breath fogged. Daniels wiped it away and muttered, "That ain't no prank." By Friday, 3 more kids vanished. Sammy Torres, 9, taken from his bedroom window, screen sliced clean, red lipstick smiley on the glass. The Patel twins, 7, gone from a sleepover, red letters on the closet door. Let's play hide and seek. Every house hit had the same scorched stench that made dogs whine and babies scream. I started sleeping at the office. The Gazette building was brick, old, no woods nearby. Safer, I thought. Wrong. At 3:33 a.m., the fire alarm shrieked. No smoke, just cold so thick the sprinkler heads iced over. On the front door, fresh red paint dripped. Front row seats. I grabbed my recorder and drove to Main Street. Streetlights flickered in sequence like a runway. The laugh rolled ahead of me. Hee hee ha. I followed it past the diner, the pharmacy, the closed-down video store. At the corner of Oak and Fifth, I found a single red balloon tied to a stop sign. It bobbed in dead air. Inside the knot, a child's tooth still bloody at the root. I took it to the station. Daniels bagged it. Dental records match Sammy Torres. His voice cracked. Where the hell is he? That night I interviewed Billy Wheeler, age 10, the only kid who'd seen the clown and lived. He sat on his porch, knees hugged to chest, eyes wide. He smelled like burnt hot dogs, Billy whispered. Gave me a candy, said the show was starting soon. Then everything went black. His mom found him at dawn in the backyard, barefoot, repeating hee hee ha. Under his breath, I asked for a description. Billy grabbed my notebook, drew with a red crayon. A clown face, left side melted into raw meat, right side still smiling. Under it, he knows my name. Back home, couldn't avoid it forever. I found my front door smeared with red. Jake, you're late. The burnt smell was so strong I gagged. Inside, the thermostat read 68, but ice crystals spidered across the ceiling. My laptop screen glowed on its own. The new file, Big Top Final AVI. I didn't download it. I hit play security cam footage from the old Save Mart lot. Timestamp, 2:47 a.m. The clown stood under the floodlight, motionless. Then he tilted his head 180 degrees like an owl. The camera zoomed, someone controlling it remotely. His remaining eye locked on the lens. He raised a gloved hand, 3 fingers burned to bone, and waved. The screen went black. When it returned, a child's silhouette stood beside him, small, limp, dragged by the wrist. The clown leaned down, whispered into the empty air, and the kid's head snapped up. White eyes, no pupils. Then they both stepped backward into shadow and were gone. The laugh started inside my headphones. Hee hee ha! Even though the video had no audio track. Frost exploded across the screen. The laptop shut down. Smoke curled from the vents, smelling of melted circuits and skin. I called Daniels. He was already on his way. Found something in the woods, he said. You're gonna want to see this. We met at the tree line where the circus once stood. Search dogs refused to cross the clearing, tails tucked, whining. Flashlights cut through fog. In the center, the old Big Top foundation, just concrete rings in the dirt. But now fresh sawdust covered the ground, still fragrant. Wooden stakes driven in a perfect circle. Children's shoes, all left feet, nailed to each stake, toes pointed inward. In the middle, a single red nose glowing like a coal. Daniels kicked it. Steam hissed. The laugh rolled from the trees. Hee hee ha! Every flashlight died at once. Temperature plummeted. My teeth chattered. When the lights flickered back, the nose was gone. Only a burnt handprint on the concrete, fingers too long. Daniels radioed for a search team at dawn. I drove home shaking. Red letters waited on my windshield, still wet. Dress rehearsal tonight. I didn't go inside. I sat in the truck, engine running, heater blasting. Frost etched a clown face on the passenger window from the inside. The smell of scorched grease paint filled the cab. On the radio, static shaped itself into that laugh, over and over, until I ripped the knob off. Jolly Joe wasn't just back. He was putting on the final show, and the audience was running out of time. The whispers spread through Willow Creek like wildfire after the third kid vanished. Folks locked their doors at dusk, kept porch lights burning all night. The Gazette switchboard lit up with tips. Saw the clown by the old mill. Heard that laugh near the playground. Daniels called a town meeting at the high school gym. Standing room only. Air thick with fear and coffee from the urns. I sat in the back, notebook ready, but my hands shook. The gym felt 10 degrees colder than outside, my breath fogging even with the heaters blasting. Daniels took the podium, badge shining under the fluorescence. This is the third child in 2 weeks. We're treating it as connected. Murmurs rippled. He didn't mention the red letters, but everyone knew. Search teams start at dawn. Volunteers welcome. Hands shot up, parents, teachers, even old Harlan from the circus days. I signed on. Couldn't sit idle while kids disappeared. Dawn came gray and misty, the kind of Ohio fall morning where fog hugs the ground like smoke. We gathered at the wood's edge, flashlights cutting beams through the haze. 50 volunteers plus deputies with dogs. Daniels handed out maps. Focus on the old circus grounds. That's where the tracks lead. The K9 unit sniffed Sammy's shoe, tails wagging. But when we hit the tree line, the dogs froze, hackles up, whining like babies. "What's spooking 'em?" a deputy asked. Then it hit. The scorched smell, faint but sharp, like barbecue gone wrong mixed with melted rubber. The air dropped cold. Goosebumps under my jacket, breath visible despite the mild temp. We pushed in. The woods were thick, leaves crunching under boots, branches snagging sleeves. No birds sang. Just quiet, too quiet. 10 minutes in, we found the first clue. A child's backpack. Lily's name stitched on the strap, hanging from a low branch. Inside, crayons, a juice box, and a red foam nose, still squishy. Harlan picked it up, face pale. "Joe's," he whispered. The group murmured. Then the laugh rolled through the trees, distant but clear, like it came from everywhere. Flashlights swung wild. The air turned freezer cold. Frost rimmed the backpack zipper. We kept going. The path led to the old circus clearing. Concrete rings where the big top once stood, overgrown with weeds. But now fresh sawdust covered the ground, golden and untouched like it had been spread that morning. The burnt plastic smell was stronger here, making eyes water. In the center, 13 wooden stakes in a circle, each topped with a kid's toy, a doll, a truck, a stuffed bear, all half melted like they'd been held to a flame. Daniels knelt by one. "Fresh." A deputy snapped photos. The dogs bolted back the way we came, leashes snapping. Then the temperature plummeted. Coats iced over, fingers numb in seconds. My watch crystal frosted. "What the hell?" Someone yelled. From the wood, closer now, echoing off the trees like a funhouse mirror. Panic bubbled. "Spread out." "Find the kids," Daniels ordered. Groups fanned into the underbrush. I stuck with Harlan and a deputy named Ruiz. We pushed deeper, flashlights bobbing. The fog thickened, smelling like charred meat. Ruiz tripped on something. A clown glove, fingers burned to nubs, still warm inside. "Jesus," he muttered, crossing himself. We found the first body 20 yards on. Sammy Torres, 9, propped against a tree like he was napping. Face pale, eyes open wide, mouth stretched in a frozen grin. No blood, no wounds. Just red lipstick smeared around his lips like clown makeup. The deputy radioed it in, voice shaking. Harlan gagged, "Joe, what happened to you?" The air froze solid. Breath hung like smoke signals. From behind us, we spun, nothing. But the fog swirled where the laugh came from. More calls crackled on the radio. "Found Lily." Same way, grinning. "The twins here?" All smiling. Every kid propped up, faces painted, no cause of death. Autopsies later said exposure, but we knew better. The search turned to recovery. Volunteers broke down, mothers wailing, fathers punching trees. As dusk fell, the scorched smell grew overwhelming. We gathered the bodies on stretchers. Daniels called it back to town. Too dark. But as we turned, the laugh exploded from the clearing, loud enough to rattle leaves. Flashlights died one by one. The air dropped to bone-chilling. Frost climbed our boots like vines. In the panic, Ruiz vanished. 1 second beside me, next, gone. His flashlight rolled at my feet, beam catching a red balloon drifting into the woods. Harlan grabbed my arm. "Run!" We bolted, stretcher abandoned. Behind, Ruiz's scream cut short. Back in town, the station was chaos. 5 kids found, all dead, all grinning. Ruiz missing. The burnt smell clung to our clothes like guilt. Daniels locked the doors. Outside, fog rolled in thick. Through the window, a tall shadow in tattered stripes watching. Then gone. That night, in my locked house, the furnace roared, but the room stayed freezer cold. Frost drew a smiley face on the mirror. The phone rang, unknown number. I answered. Then click, Jolly Joe wasn't done. The show was just starting, and Willow Creek was the stage. Digging into Jolly Joe's past felt like peeling back burned skin. Raw, painful, and full of surprises. Joseph Malone wasn't always a clown. Born in 1977 in Brooklyn, New York, Joey grew up in a tiny apartment above a deli, dreaming of Broadway lights. His mom was a waitress. His dad skipped town when Joey was 5. School reports called him the class comedian, always making faces, telling jokes to dodge bullies. By 18, he hit the road for acting gigs, off-Broadway plays, commercials for used cars, even a bit part in a soap opera as Guy Number 2. But New York chewed him up. Reviews said lacks presence. Auditions dried up. By 25, Joey was waiting tables, his laugh turning bitter. That's when he came to Willow Creek. A classified ad in the paper. Clown wanted for local circus. No experience needed. Big Top needed fresh blood, and Joey needed a paycheck. He showed up in a borrowed suit, did a pratfall on the spot. Harlan hired him that day. "Kid's got timing," the old man said. Joey painted his face white, glued on the red nose, and Jolly Joe was born. But it was Annie Harper who kept him here. 19, fresh out of high school, selling tickets in a polka dot dress. Blonde hair in a ponytail, freckles across her nose, laugh like bells. Joey fell hard. They'd share smokes behind the tent, talk dreams. "I'll take you to the city one day," he'd say. "Real shows, real lights." Annie blushed. "Just don't leave me behind." Everyone saw it. The way he juggled extra balls for her, slipped her free cotton candy. Harlan grumbled, "Keep it professional, kid." The fire changed everything. Annie was at the ticket booth when the blaze started. Witnesses said she ran toward the clown alley, screaming Joey's name. "He's inside." She tried to pull him out as the canvas collapsed. Flames caught her dress. Joey broke free, but Annie didn't. Her body was found the next day, charred beyond recognition. Joey vanished into the woods, body on fire, screaming her name. I found Joey's old trailer at the junkyard edge of town. Harlan had sold it for scrap years back, but the owner let me poke around. The inside was gutted, but under a loose floorboard, a shoebox of letters. Yellowed paper, Annie's handwriting. "My funny Joey, you make me laugh every day." The last one. "Can't wait for our adventure after the season ends. Love, A." But the real find was Joey's journal. Leather cover scorched black, pages curled from heat. I opened it in my car and the smell hit. Burnt paper and singed hair like the fire had just gone out. The thermostat read 72, but the air turned freezer cold. My fingers numb on the pages. Breath fogged the windshield. Entries started light. "Landed the gig." Willow Creek's quiet, but Annie's smile lights it up. Then darker. "Harlan's cutting corners. That generator's a fire trap." Told him. He laughed. The final entry dated the fire night. Annie said yes. Propose after the show. But something's wrong. Saw shadows in the woods. Felt watched. "If anything happens, tell her I—" The page ended in soot smudges. I flipped back. Hidden between pages, a red ink sketch. Joey's hand. A clown face melting, eyes wild, mouth stretched in that grin. Under it, the final act. 13 souls to bring her back. The show must go on. My blood ran cold. The laugh echoed from the junkyard speakers. My car radio on static, but clear as day. The dashboard lights flickered. Frost climbed the windows in smiley face patterns. I slammed the journal shut, drove home shaking. At my desk, I spread the missing kids' files. 13 since 2005. One a year, always October. Always after sightings of a burned figure. The first, a boy named Timmy, 2006, vanished from his backyard. Note on his swing, "Come play." Then Lily in 2007, red letters on her bike. On and on, up to this year's 3. Wait, 3? That made 13 total. Tonight was the full moon. The final act. I grabbed my coat, recorder, flashlight. Daniels wasn't answering. The streets were empty. Folks barricaded inside. But as I stepped out, the burnt smell rolled in like fog. Charred meat and melted wax. The air dropped 20 degrees. My porch light frosted over. Down the block, the laugh started. Drifting from the old circus grounds. I had to end this. Before number 14. The full moon hung low over Willow Creek that night, casting everything in silver light that made shadows stretch like fingers. I couldn't wait any longer. The journal's words burned in my mind. 13 souls. Tonight was the 13th night since the disappearances started. Daniels wasn't answering his phone. Probably out with a search party. The streets were empty, folks barricaded inside with shotguns and prayers. I grabbed my gear. Flashlight, digital recorder, pepper spray, and Annie's old locket I'd found in Joey's shoebox. If the stories were true, maybe it'd mean something to him. I drove to the wood's edge, parked under a flickering street lamp. The air dropped cold as soon as I stepped out. My breath froze in white clouds, even though the forecast said 60 degrees. The burnt smell hit hard, like charred barbecue and melted crayons thick enough to taste. I clicked on the recorder. Jake Miller, October 17th, 2023. Heading into the old circus grounds. If I don't come back, tell my editor to print the story. The path was overgrown, branches snagging my jacket like hands. No wind, but leaves rustled anyway. Then the laugh drifted in, echoing from deeper in, bouncing off trees like it came from multiple mouths. The temperature plummeted further. Frost rimmed my flashlight beam, turning it milky. My skin prickled, hairs standing straight. 20 minutes in, I reached the clearing. The concrete rings glowed under the moon, sawdust still fresh like it had been spread that afternoon. In the center, a single red curtain, tattered and hanging from nothing, swaying in dead air. Behind it, shadows moved. I approached slow, heart pounding. The scorched stench grew overwhelming, burnt hair and plastic making my eyes water. The recorder picked up static, then faint giggles. I pulled the curtain aside. Jolly Joe stood there, spotlighted by moonlight like on stage. Half his face was melted wax, skin sagging like candle drips. One eye drooping low, the other wild and black. The red nose fused to his cheek pulsed like it had a heartbeat. His suit hung in rags, polka dots charred black, bells silent. He tilted, his head cracking like burnt wood, and smiled, rows of yellow teeth, some missing. "Jake," he rasped, voice like smoke through gravel. "You made it to the show." I froze, the air turned freezer cold. Ice crystals formed on my jacket zipper, my fingers numb. The laugh bubbled up from his throat, close now, vibrating my chest. I clicked the recorder louder. "Joey, Joseph Malone, I know what happened, the fire, Annie." His good eye narrowed. "Annie." He stepped closer, dragging his burned foot. The smell of scorched flesh hit like a wave, gagging me. She was the finale, the perfect act. But Harlan's cheap wires, the fire took me. I held up the locket. "She loved you." This was hers. He reached out, fingers black and twisted, nails like charcoal, and took it gentle. For a second, his face softened. Then the cold deepened. Frost climbed the trees around us, branches cracking like glass. "Love? The show needs souls. 13 to bring her back. The magic's real, Jake. Join us." Shadows shifted. From the trees, small figures emerged. The missing kids, faces painted white, eyes blank. They shuffled in a circle, holding hands, giggling in unison. Sammy Torres led them, his grin too wide, teeth red with paint. "Stop this," I said, voice shaking. "Let them go." Joey laughed again, echoing off the frozen trees. "The audience stays for the encore." He waved, and the kids rushed me. Small hands cold as ice, grabbing my arms. The burnt smell clung to their clothes like they'd been near a fire. I fought, pepper spray hissing, hit one in the face. The kids screamed, but the paint melted off, revealing burns underneath. "Illusions? Or worse?" Joey loomed. "You found my journal, smart boy, but the act isn't over." He pulled a burnt top hat from his pocket, placed it on my head. Cold shot through me. Visions flashed. Annie burning, Joey running, the woods swallowing him. 13 souls, he whispered. "You're number 14, the volunteer." I broke free, recorder tumbling. The kids swarmed again. I ran for the trees, slipping on frost-slick ground. The laugh chased me, louder from all sides. Branches snapped like bones. I tripped over a root, face in dirt. Joey stood over me, hatchet in hand. Old circus prop, blade rusted but sharp. "Curtain call." In desperation, I grabbed the locket from his pocket. "Annie wouldn't want this," I yelled. He paused, good eye tearing. For a moment, the cold lifted, air warming, frost melting. The kids stopped, faces confused. Joey reached for the locket, trembling. "Annie." Then the burnt smell surged, stronger than ever. Joey's melted face twisted back to rage. "The show must go on." He swung the hatchet. I rolled, blade thunking into earth. I scrambled up, running blind. The woods blurred. The laugh faded behind, but the cold clung to my skin. I burst onto the street, collapsed on the pavement. Lights came on in houses. Neighbors found me babbling. Daniels arrived later. What happened? I told him everything. He searched the woods at dawn. No kids, no clown, just melted snow in a circle, still steaming, smelling of scorched paint. Joey let me go. to spread the story or because I reminded him of Annie. Either way, the disappearances stopped, for now, but the circus wasn't over, not by a long shot. After finding Joey's journal and that twisted sketch, I knew we had to end this. The clown wasn't just a killer. He was cursed, trapped in some kind of loop collecting souls to bring Annie back. 13 kids over 18 years. The math added up to tonight. I called Father Maria, the old priest at St. Mary's who'd baptized me. 70 years old, hands shaky from Parkinson's, but eyes sharp as ever. "Jake," he said over the phone, voice calm. "If it's a spirit, we can try an exorcism. But these things, they're not always from hell. Sometimes they're just lost. We met at midnight in the church basement. Father Maria packed a duffel. Crucifix, holy water, Bible, and candles blessed in Rome. I brought Joey's scorched journal and Annie's locket. The air in the basement felt off. 10 degrees colder than upstairs. My breath visible under the bare bulb. A faint burnt smell drifted from the vents like someone had lit a match nearby. Father Maria crossed himself. "It's already here," he whispered. As we left, the laugh echoed from the bell tower, soft like it was testing us. The church lights flickered. We drove to the old circus grounds in silence. The clearing looked different under the full moon. Frost rimmed the concrete rings, even though the night was mild. We stepped out and the temperature plunged. Ice crystals formed on the car hood like someone had turned on a freezer. The scorched smell hit strong, charred wood and melted candy, thick enough to coat my tongue. Father Maria set up in the center, a circle of salt, candles at 4 points, crucifix in the middle. He sprinkled holy water, chanting in Latin. I held the journal open to the final page. As he prayed, the cold deepened. My fingers went numb holding the locket. Breath froze in midair, hanging like smoke. The candles flickered, flames turning blue. Then the laugh started low, coming from under the ground, vibrating the salt circle. One candle tipped over, wax spilling like blood. Father Maria raised his voice. "In the name of the Father." He splashed holy water on the journal. The pages sizzled, smoke rising with that burnt plastic stench. The air dropped to bone-chilling. Frost climbed the crucifix, cracking the wood. We kept going. Father Maria read from the Bible, words booming. I held Annie's locket high. "Joey, Annie's here. Let her go. Let them all go." For a moment, the cold lifted, the air warmed, candles steadied. Then red letters bubbled on the ground inside the circle. "Show must go on," dripping like fresh paint, smelling of iron and fire. The holy water froze mid-splash, shattering on impact. The laugh exploded loud, right behind us. Candles blew out one by one. Darkness swallowed the clearing. The burnt smell choked us, scorched hair and rubber so thick I coughed. Father Maria swung the crucifix. "Begone, unclean spirit." A shadow rose from the fog. Tall, striped suit, ragged, face half melted. Joey. He stepped into the circle, salt crunching under his charred shoes. The air turned arctic. Ice spread from his feet, freezing the ground solid. Father Maria splashed more water. It hit Joey's chest and steamed off like acid on skin. Joey tilted his head. Laughing that con rasp, he grabbed the priest's arm. Father Maria screamed as frost raced up his sleeve, turning fabric brittle. The crucifix heated red-hot in his hand, burning his palm. Black smoke billowed from Joey's mouth, smelling of melted grease paint and flesh. The letters on the ground glowed, dripping upward like reverse rain. I lunged, shoving Joey back. "Let him go." Joey's good eye locked on me, calm, sad. "The finale needs an audience," he rasped. He twisted Father Maria's wrist, crack, and the priest dropped, gasping. Joey leaned down, whispering into his ear. Father Maria's eyes went wide, then blank. The cold peaked, 30 degrees in seconds, my eyelashes freezing shut. Joey straightened, stepped back into shadow. The priest stood slow, knees popping, face twisting into a grin. He laughed, voice not his own. Father Maria, or what was left, lunged at me. I dodged, grabbing the journal. He swung the crucifix like a club, eyes rolling white. "Run, Jake!" His real voice broke through for a second. Then the laugh again. I bolted for the trees, journal clutched tight. Behind me, a drag sound. Joey pulling the priest into the dark. Father Maria's scream cut short, replaced by that endless con giggle. I ran blind, branches whipping my face. The burnt smell chased me, clinging to my clothes like oil. The woods turned freezer cold. Frost coated the leaves, snapping underfoot like glass. I burst onto the street, collapsed in my driveway. Neighbors' lights came on. Someone called 911. Daniels found me babbling. They searched the grounds at dawn, no priest, no clown. Just the salt circle melted into glass, still warm, smelling of scorched earth. In the center, Father Maria's shoes charred black, soles melted like he'd stood in fire. The disappearances stopped that week. No more red letters, no more missing kids. Folks breathed easy, called it over. But I knew better. The smell lingered on my jacket for days, no matter how many washes. The cold snaps hit random. My fridge froze solid one night, food ruined. And the laugh? It echoed in my dreams. Hee-hee-ha, whispering from under the bed. Joey wasn't gone. He was waiting for the next act. The days after the failed exorcism blurred into a haze of fear and fog. I woke in the hospital, IV dripping, monitors beeping. Daniel stood at my bedside, face grim. You were out cold when we found you at the tree line. What happened to Father Maria? I told him everything, the cold, the red letters, Joey's twisted face. He nodded slow, but his eyes said doubt. No body, no blood. Just his Bible in the clearing, pages scorched black. The search teams combed the woods for hours. Nothing. No clown, no kids' remains, no sign of the circle we'd made. Like the night never happened. By morning, the disappearances stopped cold. No more missing reports. The red letters on doors, washed away in a sudden rain like they'd never been there. Folks in Willow Creek breathed easy, called it a miracle. Storm's over, Daniel said on the news. But I knew better. The air still carried that faint, scorched smell. Burnt canvas and melted makeup, lingering in alleys, drifting from storm drains. At night, when the wind picked up, the laugh echoed weak from miles away, like a radio signal fading out. I went back to the clearing a week later, alone at dusk. The concrete rings looked normal now. Weeds pushing through cracks. No sawdust, no stakes, just dirt and leaves. But as I knelt to touch the ground, the cold hit sudden. Temperature dropping 10 degrees in seconds, my shadow frosting on the grass. I dug with my hands, dirt cold as ice, under a loose stone. Jolly Joe's badge, shiny and new, like it had just come from the factory. Red nose grinning, no scorch marks. I picked it up. The burnt smell surged, charred rubber filling my lungs. The air turned freezer cold. Breath hung thick, and for a second the badge felt warm, pulsing like a heart. I pocketed it and ran. That night the house stayed unnaturally cold. Furnace roaring, but rooms like a meat locker. Frost drew patterns on the windows. Smiley faces, big top tents. The laugh whispered from the vents, soft, almost sad. The town moved on. Kids played outside again. The Gazette ran my story. Mystery solved. Disappearances end after prayer vigil. But I couldn't let go. I started writing. Nights at my desk, coffee cold from the chill, piecing together Joey's life. The book came slow. The night clown, Willow Creek's darkest secret. I included everything. The fire, Annie's death, the journal's 13 souls. Even scanned the Polaroid of me sleeping, red letters glaring. The book hit shelves 6 months later. Local bestseller first, then Ohio-wide. Talk shows called Is the Night Clown Real? I sat under studio lights, badge in my pocket for luck. He's out there, I said. Waiting. Sales spiked. Willow Creek became a tourist trap. Ghost tours to the woods, clown masks in gift shops. Kids sang the rhyme on playgrounds. Night clown, don't laugh when the moon's down. The legend grew bigger than Joey ever was. But the signs didn't stop for me. Burnt smells in my car vents on rainy nights. Cold snaps in July, freezer burn on food untouched. The laugh and static on my radio, always at 3:33 a.m. I moved twice, once to Cleveland, once to Columbus. Same thing. The clown followed. Or maybe he was inside me now, a chill in my bones. Last October, on the anniversary, I drove back to Willow Creek. The clearing was a park now. Benches, plaque about the fire. No one around. I sat on the concrete ring, journal in hand. The air dropped cold fast, breath freezing mid-exhale. The scorched smell rose from the ground, like buried embers waking. From the woods, clear as day, but fading like a show wrapping up. I burned the journal there, pages curling black. The flames smelled like melted grease paint. As the last ash blew away, the cold lifted. The smell vanished. Silence fell. Joey was gone. For real this time? Or just waiting for the next curtain call? The disappearances never returned. No red letters, no missing kids. Willow Creek slept easy, but the legend lived on. My book spawned movies, podcasts, Halloween costumes. Tourists flock every fall, snapping pics at the plaque. Kids whisper about the night clown like Bigfoot or Bloody Mary. Say his name 3 times at midnight. They don't know the cost. The family's broken, the soul's lost. Me, I don't laugh much anymore. Jokes fall flat. And on quiet nights when the wind rattles the shutters, I swear I hear that con giggle from under the bed. The room turns cold, frost on the glass. The smell creeps in. Burnt skin and broken dreams. If you're in Willow Creek and here after dark, don't look out the window. Lock the doors. Turn up the heat. The show might be over, but the clown? He's always waiting for an encore. The months after Jolly Joe's disappearance felt like the town held its breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. No more kids vanished. No red letters smeared on doors. The streets stayed quiet at night, just crickets and distant trains. Folks started sleeping with windows open again, laughing off the scares as just a bad spell. Daniels closed the case. Prankster caught or scared off. But I knew better. The burnt smell still popped up random, like walking past an empty lot and catching a whiff of scorched rubber. Cold snaps hit my house without warning. The thermostat would dip to 50 degrees in July, frost-etching smiley faces on the fridge door. And the laugh? It whispered in my dreams, fading like an old radio tuning out. I finished the book in a fever, typing nights when sleep wouldn't come. The Night Clown, Willow Creek's curse. I poured it all in, the fire, Annie's death, Joey's mad plan for 13 souls. The publisher snapped it up. Small press but word spread. Reviews called it chilling local lore and urban legend come alive. Sales climbed. Tourists trickled in. Ghost hunters with EVP recorders. Podcasters snapping pics at the old circus spot. The clearing became a stop on haunted Ohio maps. Kids spray-painted red noses on stop signs, giggling until their moms yanked them home. The legend grew legs. By Halloween, every kid in Willow Creek knew the rhyme. Night clown, with your face burned down. In the dark, leave your letters as a mark. They sang at jumping rope, but eyes darted to shadows. Schools banned clown costumes. The Gazette ran my follow-ups. 10 years since the fire, is Jolly Joe watching? Readers ate it up. Even Harlan called, "You got it right, kid." But some doors stay shut. Life tried to move on. I dated a teacher named Lisa. Nice smile, loved mysteries. But on our 3rd date, dinner at the diner, the cold hit sudden. Frost rimmed our water glasses inside the restaurant. The burnt smell wafted from the kitchen vents like overdone burgers but sharper, sicker. Lisa laughed it off. AC glitch? But I knew. From the window, a shadow shuffled past. Tall, striped, gone in a blink. That night on her doorstep, the laugh echoed from the alley. She dumped me the next day. Too weird, Jake. The book spawned copycats. A low-budget movie? Clown's revenge with bad makeup and jump scares? Podcasts dissected my evidence. The Polaroids, the journal scans. One episode played an audio clip I'd recorded. That con laugh in the woods, clear as day. Listeners emailed. Heard it in my backyard, too. Ohio made it a state legend, like Mothman or the Loveland Frog. Tour buses rolled in fall. Guides pointing. Here's where the clown walks. Souvenir shops sold red noses and "I survived the night clown" t-shirts. But the signs never fully stopped for me. Burnt smells in my coffee mug on random mornings. Cold pockets in the shower, water freezing midstream. The laugh-in static on my car radio, always on empty roads. I moved to Columbus, big city, no woods. Same thing. One night, vacuuming the apartment, Frost drew a big top tent on the TV screen. The power surged. On came a channel I'd never seen. Grainy footage of a circus act. Jolly Joe juggling fire, Annie clapping in the crowd. Then the screen cracked, smoke curling out with that charred stench. I unplugged it, but the image burned in my brain. Last October, the anniversary, I got the call from Daniels. "Jake, come back. Something's up." A kid found a red balloon in the woods tied to a tree with 13 knots. Inside, a note in faded ink. "The show's on hiatus, but the clown always returns." No signature, but we knew. The burnt smell lingered on the paper for days. I stood in the clearing that night, Moon full again. The air dropped cold fast, breath freezing, fingers numb. The scorched smell rose from the dirt like buried coals stirring. From the trees, weak but there. I waited, nothing came. Joey was gone, or hiding, waiting for the next cycle. The legend's bigger now. Books, movies, even a Netflix doc. The Willow Creek Clown. Tourists flock, but locals lock doors. Kids whisper, say Jolly Joe 3 times at midnight. They don't know the real cost. The family's shattered. The soul's stuck. Me? I don't go out after dark. Jokes don't land funny anymore. And on quiet nights when wind rattles shutters, I smell that burnt whiff. Feel the unnatural chill, hear the distant laugh. If you're in Willow Creek and catch that sound, don't open the door. Turn up the heat. The show's never really over, just on break.